rise in body or spirit and join me in singing our opening hymn this morning, which is Hine Matov, number 392 in the gray hymnal. A fairly simple melody. The words will be on the screen. Please be seated.
We are one, a diverse group of proudly kindred spirits here not by coincidence, but because we choose to journey together. We are active and proactive. We care deeply. We live our love as best we can.
We are one, working, eating, laughing, playing, singing, storytelling, sharing, and rejoicing.
We are one, getting to know each other, taking risks, opening up, questioning, seeking, searching, trying to understand, struggling, making mistakes.
We are one, paying attention, asking questions, listening, living our answers, learning to love our neighbors, learning to love ourselves.
We are one, apologizing and forgiving with humility, and being forgiven through grace, creating the beloved community together. We are one. We light our chalice this morning, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. May it be a beacon that reminds us of our ongoing commitment to care for the living and breathing earth. May we be carriers of its light of radical welcome and warmth into wholeness, into liberation, into the one circle of life.
We join together this day with loving hearts, hands, and minds, embracing the interconnected web of life, as we give thanks for the earth, our shared home. May we dedicate ourselves to its ongoing care.
Good morning. Welcome to this Earth Day service of the Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship here in Durham, North Carolina. I'm Reverend Daniel Trollinger, Executive Minister. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever your race or gender identity, whomever you love, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey and your search for truth and meaning, you are welcome here. If you're new to this community or visiting for the first or second time, we invite you to rise in body or spirit so we may give you a proper ERUUF welcome. Thank you all for choosing to spend your Sunday morning with us on this rainy day. If you're watching on the live stream, please introduce yourself in the chat. If you have children or youth with you, they are invited to attend one of our religious exploration classes that's held in the Care Building, and they can go after the time for all ages when the children are sung out. Fellowship with tabling and coffee is available in the fellowship hall right after this service. Also, after coffee hour, celebrate Earth Day and the conclusion of Earth, Climate, and Justice Month with Fellowship Light Plant-Based Fair, reflections, and a Sacred Circle dance. Who knows what's happening here next Sunday? Not this part of the room. They know. How about over here? What's Choir Fest? So 145 singers from 11 different UU congregations will come here next weekend. This will culminate in an informal concert on Saturday night at 7, and there will be one service at 11 o'clock next week. So mark your calendars, get here early for the special treat, the choir. Now is a good, and our special music today is brought by the Eno River Singers, thank you. Now is a good time to turn off or down any devices you have on your person. And let's center ourselves and take a breath together. And welcome the gifts of this day. Let us begin with our Weaving Beloved Community segment and welcome Ron Mitchell from the ERUUF Jewish Fellowship, who will share about Passover.
Ma nishtama halayla hazeh mikol halaylot. Why is this night different from all other nights? This is one of the 4 questions that the youngest person at the Seder table asks each year on the first 2 nights of Passover, known as Pesach in Hebrew. Passover is one of 3 major Jewish festivals. It begins on the 15th day of Nisan in the Hebrew calendar. Now this year, that corresponds to the 22nd of April, that is tomorrow, at sunset, and ends after 8 days. During these 8 days, only unleavened bread, matzah, should be served instead of bread or cake. Traditionally, before the holiday begins, Jewish homes are purged of all breads and cakes, collectively known as chametz, though many Jews no longer follow this custom. Passover celebrates the exodus of the Israelites from Egypt 3,000 years ago and recalls the haste with which they left the slavery they had suffered for 400 years under the Egyptians and their pharaohs. According to the Bible, 10 plagues were visited on the Egyptians to convince the Pharaoh to free the Hebrew slaves. The festival is called Passover because the angel of death passed over the Israelites and spared them from suffering the 10th plague, slaying of the firstborn. On the first and second nights of Passover, there is a special service and meal held in the home. It is called the Seder, which means order. We read from a special book called the Haggadah, the telling, that retells the story of the Exodus. My father led the Seder at least one of the 2 nights in our house every year. I remember with warmth the large table covered with ceremonial dishes, wine and matzah, and with friends and relatives seated round, listening to my father read from the Haggadah and lead the singing of Passover songs. Towards the beginning of Seder each year, an adult took a piece of matzah, called the afikomen, and wrapped it in cloth and hid it somewhere in the house. When the meal was completed, the children all searched for the hidden afikomen, usually very noisily. The one who found it was rewarded with a small token. Another highlight for the children was the Elijah cup. A large wine cup was filled to the brim, and our front door was opened to invite the prophet Elijah to join us. All the children at the table stared intently at the cup to see if any wine was consumed. Of course, it never was. For me, the ritual of the Seder connects me to my ancestors who lived and celebrated Passover in their homes in Europe and elsewhere. Sadly, many of those family members perished in the Holocaust. But the message of freedom is central to Passover. As Reverend Martin Luther King said, "No one is free until we are all free." We recall at the Seder that those who still suffer bondage around the world and here at home need our help to achieve the freedoms that we take for granted. So, what are the 4 questions asked by the youngest? Well, to find that answer, or if you just want to learn more about Passover, please visit our table in the fellowship hall after the service. Thank you.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, somebody already knows what we're doing. You have 2 sizes. Oh my goodness. Come on down. Oh, wow. All right. Come on down. Come on down. Our smallest to our tallest. Pinky, that's very appropriate. Good morning, good morning. Oh, we got a few more people. Could my folks here kind of scoot forward a little bit? Because we've got some people coming in behind you. Scoot forward just a tad. Make some space for people coming down the back. So before we read this story today, this story is connects to Earth Day. It connects to interdependence. Interdependence is a long word. Anybody know what that word means? Yeah? All things are connected. Very good. Yes. This story will reference all things being connected. Very astute. And I have to ask a question before we start. How many people here love bees? A few people. Okay. How many people here do not like bees? There's some people here. Yeah, you're scared of them. How many people have a complicated relationship with bees? Some of us also have a complicated relationship with bees. Yes, so this book was written by a dad to his 2 sons, and he is an artist named Shabazz Larkin, and it's called The Thing About Bees, a Love Letter. And I'm going to tell you, well, we're going to get to a letter he wrote to his sons in here, but he also did not like bees. So he wrote this book. When a bee and a flower fall in love with each other, or love each other very much, a fruit is born. The flower makes a sticky yellow dust called pollen. We see a lot of that here in North Carolina sometimes, right? As the bee drinks the flower's nectar, she gets pollen all over her hairy body. The bee moves pollen from one flower to another, then we wait, and presto, the flower turns into a fruit you can eat, such as strawberries in this case. This process is called pollination. There you go. We'd be hungry without the bees. They help vegetables grow, and nuts grow too. Thank you, bees. Here's the thing about bees. And so you see a picture of the author and his sons. Sometimes bees can be a bit rude. They fly in your face and prance on your food. They buzz in the bushes and buzz in your ear. They sneak up behind you and fill you with fear. Very real. And worst of all, they do this thing called sting. Ouch. Before I turn this page, have you been hearing in the news how, there's less bees now? And bees are kind of disappearing? Yeah. We kind of got to work to save the bees. Some of it's about, I want to say insecticides, but I'm missing the right word. Pesticides, there it is. Thank you. I was so close to it. I'm glad you remembered it. Pesticides are kind of not good for bees. So yeah, we got to figure that out. That's some of the sort of justice part. Anyway, we may want bees gone because their sting hurts, but if they were all gone, it would hurt much worse. Without bees, there'd be no more picnics with watermelon. There'd be no more smoothies with mango. There'd be no more strawberries for shortcakes, and no more avocados for tacos. There'd be no apples, which means no more pie. Well, there's other pies, but some of those other pies would also be gone. No more cucumbers, which means no more pickles. No more blueberries and raspberries for pancakes or sweet cherries to drizzle. All of these things would be gone. Because some foods won't grow without bees to help them along. In a way, the bees are just like you. You buzz in the bushes and buzz in my ear. You sneak up behind me and fill me with fear. You fly in my face and prance on my food. You even sting when you're in a bad mood. But I never stop loving you. Just like the bees. You're my sweet cherry, the apple pie of my eye. You're my cucumber pickle, my bumblebee in the sky. You're my cold watermelon at a picnic in the park. You're the avocados on my tacos. You're my strawberry heart. And now, wait, there's one more page. I almost forgot. There's more than one more page. But without those little buzzers, the world wouldn't know what to do. That's the thing about bees. We need them just as much as we need you. And here's a little letter the author wrote. I have a lot to learn from bees. I wrote this book because I have a ridiculous fear of bees. When my sons were born, I didn't want to pass that fear to them. So I set out to discover all I could about the little buzzers. I learned 3 things about bees. First, I learned that every living creature has a special part to play in the world, and that includes you, interdependence. Where was I? There I was. Second, when I learn more about a scary thing, the thing feels less scary to me. Third, I researched which bees and wasps are kind and which are kind of mean. I made a guide to help you see the difference too. It's brave to try to understand the things that scare us. Now go be brave. And we won't read this page, but I just wanted to show you the picture of it because I think it's real cool. The everything you need to know about how not to get stung from kind to kind of mean. There's some good information on here. And then the last page, but seriously, we need to love the pollinators. Do all you can to save the bees, please. So, and with that, we depart.
Peace, salam, shalom. Peace, salam, shalom. Peace, salam, shalom. Peace, salam, shalom. We believe in peace. We believe in peace. We believe in peace. We believe in peace. Peace, salam, shalom. Peace, salam, shalom. Peace, salam, shalom. Peace, salam, shalom. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing our next hymn, which is We Are the Rain and the Rainbow. It's page 179 in the Earth and Spirit songbook. And of course, the lyrics are also on the screen. Yes, it's the Earth and Spirit songbook. Yep. can turn now, please, and greet your neighbor.
This morning, I invite you to join me in a meditation to lean into a sense of appreciation and connection. Sit and settle your mind and body in a way that feels supportive. Lower your gaze or close your eyes and notice your breath moving in and moving out naturally. Nothing to do, just be, breathe. And feel yourself settle in even more deeply. And from this place of stillness, pose this question to your heart. What do I love? Simply ask and notice whatever arises. Make space for anything and everything. What do I love? Deepen this inquiry by asking, what is too important to me to lose or forget? Keep listening, honoring whatever arises. What is too important to me to lose or forget? As something clear emerges, appreciate your connection, your commitment, your devotion. And now in your imagination, offer a gesture or phrase to express your love. Notice, feel, allow. This simple practice of heart inquiry is something you can practice every day to deepen your connection to life. Now take a full breath and let it out slowly. And open your eyes when you're ready. Bring hands to prayer position, honoring a sense of connection with your own heart, that center of light and love within you. May it be so.
Teach me suffering as old stones suffer.
Today we celebrate Earth Day. So while we celebrate indoors for this service, I have some homework for you. This week, get outside in some small way, celebrate the earth. How would you do this? While you think of a few ideas, let me share a few. Appreciation is always a good place to start. What do you appreciate about the earth? And how would you express that? Planting. What seeds or plants could you cultivate this spring? Care. How do you care for the earth, and how does that show in your words, choices, and actions? The earth is our home, and as such, we need to take care of our home. This is actually where Earth Day began, as different groups that have been fighting ecological problems individually, like oil spills, polluting factories, toxic dumps, pesticides, the loss of wilderness, extinction of wildlife, and on, these groups all united on Earth Day in 1970, coming together with common shared values. Earth Day 1970 achieved a rare political alignment, enlisting support from Republicans and Democrats, rich and poor, urban dwellers, farmers, labor leaders, and business leaders. By the end of 1970, the first Earth Day led to the creation of the United States Environmental Protection Agency and the passage of other first-of-their-kind environmental laws, including the National Environmental Education Act, the Occupational Safety and Health Act, and the Clean Air Act. 2 years later, Congress passed the Clean Water Act. Earth Day is the largest secular day of protest in the world. In 2020, over 1 billion people worldwide participated in Earth Day actions. 1 billion. People celebrate Earth Day to help protect the planet and create a more sustainable future by taking part in activities like picking up litter, recycling, planting trees, conserving water and energy, engaging in environmental education, as well as practicing other lifestyle choices. It is possible to make a difference. Now, some environmental advocates suggest that these small lifestyle choices are insignificant and reinforce an individual consumer mentality versus the power of organizing collectively in movements. It's okay to see things with different perspectives. The goal is not consensus, but mindful action guided by values grounded in care for the earth. I believe just as every act of kindness, even if seemingly invisible, matters, so do acts of mindful living, acts of compassion, acts of justice, and acts of care for the earth. Small changes can add up to large ones, transforming our relationships, our communities, and helping us build a more just and joyful world. Mindful living invites the cultivation of a reciprocal and respectful relationship with the world. How are we paying attention to our choices and their impacts? When we practice mindful living, listen deeply to all that is, and awaken to the understanding that we are part of the earth and the earth is part of us. Addressing climate change becomes grounded in a spiritual knowing of the inherent oneness of creation. Then the questions we ask, the actions we take will emerge from a perspective of compassion and connection. When we see, know, and believe that all life is interdependent, this is a big step forward in helping to care for the earth. Here is just a brief overview of sustainability steps we've taken here at ERUUF. To learn more, go to the website, click on that green sanctuary logo, and there's several articles. We've had ongoing recycling and composting efforts here. A major solar panel installation on the Care building, And this slide will show some concrete data on these efforts. As you digest that, I'm going to continue. We plan to have this chart updated quarterly and posted on the ERUUF website. In addition, there's Earth and Climate Justice Month every April with events and programs. We have new EV charging stations now operational. We have educational programs in collaboration with RE and various justice ministries, and much more. Gratitude for all those who worked on green sanctuary certification for this fellowship, and for our Earth Justice team, which helps carry the torch of this vital work. Several members of the team will share thoughtful reflections on the theme of Earth Day in this service in just a moment. And the work continues. Buddhist activist and author Thich Nhat Hanh writes, "When we suffer, the earth embraces us, accepts us, and restores our energy, making us strong and stable again. The relief we seek is right under our feet and all around us. Much of our suffering can be healed if we realize this. If we understand our deep connection and relationship with the earth, we will have enough love, strength, and awakening to look after ourselves and the earth so that we both can thrive." On this morning, as we celebrate Earth Day, honoring, listening, caring, may we take time to go outside with a spirit of gratitude and connect with the earth. May we acknowledge the interdependent web of life of which we are all a part. And may we remember we are one. May it be so.
Rising A climate scientist named Joel Gurgis writes in Not Too Late, averting planetary disaster is up to the people alive right now. When you realize the 2020s will be remembered as the decade that determined the fate of humanity, you will tap into an eternal evolutionary force that has transformed the world time and time again. Recognizing that you are part of a timeless tug of war for social justice electrifies the present moment in a way that brings meaning and purpose to our lives, end quote. Today I finished teaching a class here called How to Save the World in Yourself in 3 easy steps. It was 2 classes. I'm going to give you the 2-minute version. And if you want the whole class, you can pick up a little slip of paper at the Earth Justice table in the fellowship hall after the worship. So the first question is, it's a series of questions. Ask yourself, what do I love? Then what breaks my heart? And then, what are my gifts? Abilities, talents, perspectives, privileges, resources. The second part of the class, we imagine our ideal world. What does your ideal world look like? Now imagine your ideal day. And we're not talking lying on a beach on your vacation. We're talking a regular, ordinary day. Where do these 2 match up? See what you're doing and do that. I once asked the universe what I could do to save the world, and the image I got was of a board of light bulbs, and one of them lit up, and then the ones right around it lit up, and then the ones right around those lit up, and on and on. It can be hard right now to be lit up. I can look at the world and feel hopeless and overwhelmed. But as someone once told me, you are only responsible for 1/8 billionth of the solution. Take that in, doesn't that feel good? That's why it's important to find what lights you up. All of our problems are connected, and so are all the solutions. Every one of us is a unique individual with unique perspectives and talents. If we all do what is ours to do, we can turn this world around. We are the people we've been waiting for.
Good morning. Could I have this dance for the rest of my life? Could you be my partner every night? When we're together, it feels so right. Could I have this dance for the rest of my life? Some of you may recognize these lyrics from a 1980 song by Canadian singer Anne Murray. What in the world does this love song have to do with Earth Day and the unprecedented global challenges we face? Well, stay with me because I've been thinking about this song and other such love songs differently lately. According to biblical scholars, there are 4 lenses of scriptural interpretation: the literal, the allegorical, the moral, and the anagogical, or the mystical. On this Earth Day 2024 Sunday, what if we try on the mystical lens to interpret Murray's lyrics as an invitation to enter into a sacred dance with our living universe? An invitation into cosmophilia, or love of the universe. Recently, I listened to the book The Living Universe by Duane Elgin, American author and activist. In this book, he highlights the term biophilia as an innate urge to affiliate with other living things. And he then expands this sense of kinship and connection with other forms of life and introduces the term cosmophilia. He uses cosmophilia to describe kinship and affiliation we feel with the totality of life and our experience of felt connection with the harmony and the beauty of our entire universe. He also offers the hope-filled vision that our relationship with the universe involves a growing sense of biophilia, love of things, and cosmophilia, love of the universe in its wholeness, all life. The author then asks a fundamental question to which he proposes the answer makes the difference, all the difference, to our collective future. And that question is our universe living or dead? His emphatic conclusion in the book introduction is our universe is indeed living. Quote, I do not believe that the human community can come to a new relationship with one another and our earth unless we come to a new relationship with our universe. In the concluding chapter of this rich book, Elgin offers 6 tasks with thorough explanations for making the great turning to a living universe of communion and community. And here's a snippet of that chapter. First, co-creating our story of awakening. If we are separated from the universe, we are literally lost. When we don't know where we are, we cannot understand who we are or the nature of the evolutionary journey ahead. This journey is not a return to the past. We cannot go back to some nostalgic golden age of a previous era. No, instead, this journey lies ahead in a new relationship with ourselves, one another, and our universe. 2, cultivating reflection and full reconciliation. The paradigm of a living universe will foster a new level of ethics as people recognize that our every action and thought is woven into the infinite ecology of the universe. With full reconciliation, including racial, religious, ethnic, gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, economic, ecological, and generational. 3, living simply and sustainably. As we master the art of living on earth, our mastery will be evident in the simplicity of our way of living. Simplicity does not mean turning away from progress. To the contrary, it is an expression of a maturing civilization. 4, creating new kinds of community. Our communion with the universe is mirrored in our expression of community with one another. 5, becoming media-conscious citizens of the earth. If the media present diminished images of ourselves as isolated consumers who just want to be entertained, then we will tend to fulfill that image. However, if we see portrayals of ourselves as citizens of the cosmos who are actively engaged in a heroic journey of awakening and co-creating, we will tend to fulfill that image, self-image. And 6, bringing our true gifts to the world. At this time of supreme testing, we are being challenged to give nothing less than our highest and best gifts to the world. As we consider these 6 evolutionary tasks offered by Elgin, and I conclude my reflection, I return to where I started. On this Earth Day 2024 Sunday, what if we try on the mystical lens to interpret Murray's lyrics as an invitation to enter a sacred dance with our living universe? An invitation into cosmophilia, or love of the universe. Could I have this dance for the rest of my life? Our future awaits our individual and collective consent.
I went down to the Haw River the other day, which I really can't stop myself from doing sometime in April or May as the weather finally starts to warm up a little bit. If you remember my reflection during Christmas time about the Haw River, that means that 2 out of the 3 times I've been standing here, that's what I've been talking about. I love the Haw River. It's like a protective older sister to me, or perhaps a wise and nurturing elder neighbor, always waiting to teach me something new. But almost as soon as I sat down by the riverside on this particular day, I was plagued by the knowledge that this place of solace I love so deeply was slated to be erased, replaced in the next few years by a new Disney Corporation gated community called Asteria, which will only be a couple of miles from Pittsburgh on the Haw River. The idea of losing such a sacred, special little place to fantasy mansions I could never afford and probably never be allowed to see filled me with deep anger. Falling into a state of rumination, I pondered how the Haw River is continually polluted by forever chemical plants upstream in Burlington, just as the Cape Fear River was that I drank from growing up in Wilmington. Another emotion joined my anger: fear, perhaps even terror. Scenarios of cancer that came on far too early, immune disorders I haven't figured out, or GI diseases flashed through my mind as I sat by the riverside watching driftwood float by in the stream. Fear and anger grew in my mind right behind my eyes like some sort of evil twins. Then they spread from my head down my spine, where they turned into anxiety and found their homes in my clenched fists, turning stomach, and tapping toes. The beautiful moment I had come to experience on this riverbank began to sail away. No longer did I feel the warm sun on my skin or cool current on my legs. No longer did I smell the earthy sweetness of the soil or taste the brackishness of the air. No longer did I see the river stars made of little ripples and bouncing sunbeams. These sources of joy, meaning, and love were suddenly lost to me, enveloped by an all-consuming existential, intellectual, and emotional angst. Perhaps you can relate as well when our sacred spaces are encroached upon in ways that we hadn't imagined could occur in the future. Luckily, before all was completely lost to the self-induced despair, the insights of womanist thinkers and doers like Katie Cannon and Lauren Relaford came back to my mind. Namely, this insight: resilience and liberation are fueled by joy and by love. Fear, anxiety, and anger are perfectly legitimate emotions to feel, and I might say rational in the face of what is happening in our world. But these cannot be the only things we feel. My anger at the loss of this spot on the Haw River and fear of pollution served no purpose at that particular moment on the riverbank, and it had covered up my love for this body of water and my joy in experiencing it. The sun, the breeze, the fish, the cattails, the little bugs, the backyard strawberries. How glorious and beautiful they were, offering to pull me into their embrace and remind me that I was just a hapless, mostly hairless hominid who by happenstance has been graced with the ability to trod that ground on that day. I was tragically close to missing out on that joy, one which would not have dampened my passion to protect this river, but only continued to fuel it 100 times over. As we recommit to earth justice, we need to meditate on how we can hold our valid emotions of fear and anger without losing the joy that emerges from our inner connection with nature. For we are evolved creatures, just like the birds of the air, beasts of the field, and fish of the river or sea. How terrible would it be not only to damage our right relationship with the earth in the future due to climate change or overzealous development, but also to allow that not inevitable future to steal our connection and celebration within our earth today. Building a sustainable future for ourselves and our descendants 100 generations from now does not begin with a protest sign or radical protest, though these will certainly be necessary. It begins when holding feelings towards the present and future in a single moment. We choose, as the thinker Ram Dass said, to be here now. Deciding to look outside that window at the wind and rain and bird calls playing with the trees and choose to join in the ecstasy of their dance with an entire cosmos excited to welcome us home as part of it.
It is now time for the offering, a time of generosity and gratitude. Please place your tangible gifts in the baskets as they're passed around, or point your device at the QR code on the screen and go from there. Thank you for all your ongoing support and generosity.
See
We give thanks for the many gifts that support the sustaining and thriving of this beloved community, especially the gift of thoughtful reflections and beautiful music. I have one request for you as we move into our final hymn. I want you to really sing it and feel it.
And please rise and body your spirit. Join me in our closing hymn, Loop Up Home, number 1064 in the Teal Hymnal, and the words are on the screen.
Thank you for that. Our closing words come from Dr. Robin Wall Kimmerer. Action on behalf of life transforms. Because the relationship between self and the world is reciprocal, it is not a question of first getting enlightened or saved, then acting. As we work to heal the earth heals us. May it be so. Go in peace. Go in love.